This has been a very interesting hearing. Mr. Waltz, welcome to Oversight. Yes, it usually gets like this. Look, let's be very clear. This isn't about Hunter Biden's white privilege. It's about Hunter Biden's Democrat privilege. Because Donald Trump Jr. showed up for 5 congressional subpoenas. There was never this circus where he was subpoenaed by House Democrats and he showed up on the Senate side or showed up at the White House to answer in some fake, phony, lame press conference, not actually going to the House and doing what he was compelled by a subpoena to do. Hunter Biden did that.
What you just saw was a quick glimpse of what happens when real logic goes head-to-head with political theater. Up next is one of the sharpest examples of the battle shaping America right now. On one side, you've got straight shooters like Byron Donalds, calm, clear, and grounded in reality. And on the other, you've got AOC and her crew bending every rule of reason just to protect their narrative. They'll spin, deflect, and dramatize until the truth disappears under layers of emotion. That's their playbook. Keep the spotlight off accountability and drown everything in noise. But then you get someone like Byron who cuts right through it. No yelling, no grandstanding, just truth that hits like a brick. This isn't just a political clash. It's a reflection of the bigger fight between common sense and chaos. So if you're tired of the emotional games and ready for some unfiltered reality, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. Because what's coming next is pure gold, logic dismantling fantasy in real time. Let's dive straight into it.
Look, let's be very clear. This isn't about Hunter Biden's white privilege. It's about Hunter Biden's Democrat privilege. Because Donald Trump Jr. showed up for 5 congressional subpoenas. There was never this circus where he was subpoenaed by House Democrats and he showed up on the Senate side or showed up at the White House to answer in some fake, phony, lame press conference, not actually going to the House and doing what he was compelled by a subpoena to do. Hunter Biden did that. And then he has the unmitigated gall to show up here when we know that we're going through actually the legislation for contempt with, by the way, Mr. Chairman, we should actually get to the legislation of contempt. The speechifying is great, but let's do our business, members. He has the gall to come here, show up, and then when the Democrats are saying, hey, he wants to speak, he leaves. This is a joke. This is a farce. The man has been subpoenaed by Congress. Oh, and by the way, the January 6th committee, Mr. Raskin, which you did sit on, by the way, that was not a normally ordered committee of Congress because Nancy Pelosi did not want the Republican members that then Leader McCarthy put up.
According to the courts, it was.
I my time, sir.
Will you yield for a correction?
I was respectful of your time. I didn't say anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward with our business. He should be held in contempt. There was a subpoena. He did not answer it. Any other American will be held in contempt by Congress. Any other. This is Democrat privilege of the highest order. Let's do our jobs. I yield.
Gentleman yields. Chair now recognizes Ms. Ocasio-Cortez from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to address briefly, quickly, that moment about privilege and all of this that we're seeing here. It was a very beautiful speech. As also the Republican side had mentioned in their many raisings of the January 6th committee, that it's not just Hunter Biden, you, me, any individual subject to equal treatment under the law, to be held up to accountability under the law, but it is also these committees and this committee that is subject to oversight and law. We must comply with the law here as well. Now, I may be one of the very few people that actually believes in Congress, in this country. But I do, and many of us do here. And we have an obligation to engage in good faith participation to execute and comply with the subpoena. The chairman said in front of the country several times to Hunter Biden, you can show up here in front of the world, in front of the public. Hunter Biden took him up on that offer. He said, I will show up in public. I will show up in public. He showed up here today. He showed up here in the past. And Mr. Chairman, I know you do your best with what you've got, but you've got members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed-door hearings, and people want to say back and forth at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what party it's happened from. You've got members who've engaged in revenge porn in this committee. So it is understandable why Hunter Biden would want to testify in front of the public for the American people to be able to witness that testimony for themselves. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee. The book was given to us on day one. And so what we should do is allow the man to testify. I believe in the power of the Oversight Committee. Frankly, I believe in it regardless of whether Republicans or Democrats have the chair, because I believe that this committee should have the power of oversight. And we cannot do that on a partisan basis. And so for that, I implore this committee to allow Hunter Biden to testify publicly. I implore and I ask for that to happen. And we cannot do that by getting engaged in this back and forth on a defiance of the subpoena. Let him comply. Let him do it today. Let him do it tomorrow. But let the man do it. And with that, I yield back to the ranking member.
Thank you, Ms. Ocasio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things. First, it was said in this hearing, Mr. Chairman, about you specifically, that you repeatedly said you would give Mr. Biden any opportunity. He could choose which one to come and speak in front of this committee. He could do it by deposition. He could do it by open hearing. It was up to him. The truth of the matter, though, is, members, is that the chairman's words are not binding. Like, no other member's words of Congress are really not binding. The binding article.
Point of order. Does the chairman agree with that? Point of order. Does the chairman agree?
Are you going to restore my time?
Point of order. Just point of order. Okay. Does the chairman agree that the chairman's words are not binding on the committee?
That's not a point of order. It has nothing to do with the order of this hearing. Thank you. Can I go back to 4 minutes and 34 seconds? That's where I was before I was interrupted by Mr. Raskin.
Yes, reset the clock.
Thank you. What is binding is the actual written document, the written language in the subpoena, because a subpoena from this committee is also signed off on by the clerk of the House. That is the binding document that matters here. That is what governs. That's number one. Number two, that was said in this hearing. It was said that our witnesses said that there was no basis for an impeachment. But remember, members on the Democrat side of the aisle, what was said by Mr. Turley at the time was that there was plenty of evidence for the continuation of an impeachment inquiry. And the purpose of that hearing was the relevance basis for an impeachment inquiry. The House has now voted for an impeachment inquiry. And one of the first things that the House did after the vote of an impeachment inquiry was to subpoena Hunter Biden to appear. Hunter Biden has evaded that subpoena. So flagrantly did he evade it that he decided to show up at the Senate side to give a press conference, and Eric Swalwell, a member of the House, helped him get that time on the Senate side to give a press conference. That's a flagrant violation of a congressional subpoena. Secondarily, he has the gall to show up here when we're actually discussing contempt. And he didn't stay. He was sitting right over there. He's not here now. He said he wants to talk. He could have stayed through the whole proceeding. He chose to leave. That's his business. But he was subpoenaed to come here back in December. He chose not to of his own volition. He's in violation of that subpoena, a subpoena that was executed with the signature of the clerk of the House of Representatives. That is the document that is binding. That's what we work off of. Mr. Chairman, I actually want to submit for the record an article from The Hill written by Jonathan Turley, and it is titled Eric Swalwell and the Politics of Contempt.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. I'm glad something got admitted to the record. Last, a couple other points. One quick point I want to make, and this is in reference to the minority's report about this $7.8 million. I want the minority to understand one very important distinction between Presidents Biden and President Trump. President Trump has an international real estate portfolio that he has amassed over decades. I'm quite sure if you go back through all of the hotel receipts before he was president of the United States, that you had foreign dignitaries staying at Trump hotels all across the world.
Will the gentleman yield?
I'm not going to yield, Mr. Raskin. I'm making a point because they're actually very nice hotels. They look good. People like staying there. President Trump was not running the Trump Organization when he was president of the United States. To my recollection, Eric Trump, the president's son, was actually running the Trump Organization when President Trump was president of the United States. So if he had a portfolio of hotels and people choose, through Expedia, through Kayak, through hotels.com, if they choose to go and stay there, how is that the president being in violation of what the emoluments clause? Is that what you're citing? Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, America, this is ridiculous. The Biden family has no business They've never had a business except for politics. And the one thing that the Oversight Committee, in conjunction with the Ways and Means Committee and in conjunction with the Judiciary Committee, has always been able to demonstrate is that they shook down foreign nations for millions, 26 million at the latest count and growing, millions. And there was never any business entity involved except public corruption and a pay-for-play scheme. We have questions for Hunter Biden. We issued a subpoena for him to answer said questions. He ignored a congressional subpoena as a private citizen. There are many attorneys on the other side of the aisle.
All right, let's break this down because that was something else. Byron Donalds just delivered a masterclass in how to flip the script and expose the double standard that everyone sees, but no one on the left wants to admit. He starts off by cutting through the noise. This isn't about white privilege, it's about Democrat privilege. And just like that, the whole narrative collapses. He lays it out plain and simple. If your name is Biden, the rules don't apply. But if your name is Trump, suddenly the full weight of the government comes crashing down on you. Donalds points out that Trump Jr. complied with subpoenas multiple times, while Hunter Biden treats them like a bad Yelp review, just ignores them and holds a press conference instead. And what do Democrats do? They circle the wagons and call it justice. It's insanity. Then AOC jumps in, and it's straight out of the radical left survival manual. When the facts aren't on your side, change the subject. Suddenly she's talking about civil rights committees and racism, as if that has anything to do with Hunter Biden skipping out on a subpoena. It's smoke and mirrors. It's emotional manipulation, and it's insulting that she thinks no one notices. Then she pushes this bizarre claim that the chairman's offhand offer for public testimony somehow cancels out a formal subpoena. That's not how Congress works. That's not how law works. It's either pure ignorance or intentional deception, and Byron calls her out on it like a pro. And just when you think it couldn't get more ridiculous, she starts talking about revenge porn like, what are we even doing here? None of it connects to the issue. It's a distraction, plain and simple. But Byron doesn't take the bait. He stays calm, steady, and laser-focused on the facts. He lays it out clean. There's one truth here. A subpoena was issued, and it was ignored. End of story. That's how you fight back. Not with emotion, not with name-calling, just pure logic. And if you think that was impressive, wait till you see him unfiltered. Up next, we've got Byron Donalds at CPAC, breaking down exactly what it's like serving on a committee with AOC. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
I serve on a committee with Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, you've heard of her. Okay. And she literally believes that we can print whatever we want. It doesn't matter how much we borrow. It doesn't matter how much we spend. But she can believe all that while she drives her nice little Tesla and lives in one of the most expensive apartments in Washington, D.C. You see, the left loves to deride capitalism, but they actually love capitalism. They love what it creates for them. But they want you and they want me and they want every hardworking American to bend the knee. But America has woken up and we have realized that we're not going down a socialist road and we're going to fight them.
He nailed it. Every word of it. Byron Donalds isn't just talking politics. He's describing what he sees up close every single day. AOC and her squad honestly believe money just magically appears out of thin air. That you can print trillions without wrecking the economy. Meanwhile, she's cruising around in a Tesla and living in one of the priciest zip codes in D.C. The irony writes itself. It's socialism for the people, but luxury for the preachers. And that's the problem. Guys like Byron are out there fighting to keep this country grounded in reality, fighting an ideology that's draining our wallets and poisoning our values. It's refreshing, it's rare, and it's exactly what this country needs right now. Someone who speaks the truth without a filter and without fear. But here's the question. Are we finally seeing a shift? Are more leaders finding their voice and calling out this nonsense? Or is Byron one of the few still standing tall? I want to hear what you think. Drop it in the comments below, because what we just saw is a snapshot of the bigger battle for America's future, right there in those committee rooms. On one side, facts, accountability, and common sense. On the other, theatrics, emotion, and distraction. Byron Donalds showed what real leadership looks like. He didn't yell, he didn't fold, he just laid out the truth with confidence. That's how you win people over. That's how you expose hypocrisy. So if you believe in that kind of leadership, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's sick of political spin and ready for some straight talk. Because this is what real conservative backbone looks like. Until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and stay vigilant. This is Liberty Voice Politics, keeping truth front and center.